So with Hip Over 50, thank you for watching. I'm going to talk to you today about a little experience I had with the NHS. In fact, my overall impressions of the NHS. So I've done another video about how US and UK healthcare compare, and this is kind of a follow-up. I just thought maybe my US viewers might be curious to know, and my UK viewers might also be a little curious as to my experience. So I'm Tessa with Hip Over 50, basically telling you about my journey here, moving from the US to the UK. I lived in the US all my life, and I've moved back to the UK where I was born. So, on with the show. I went in to see the doctor yesterday. Actually, first of all, you have to get an appointment on the day. So you can't schedule appointments ahead of time in my area. So I call in the morning, I get put into a phone queue. About an hour and a half later, I get a call from the receptionist saying, "What's your deal? What's your problem?" I explained it to her. She said, "Okay, let me set you up with a phone call with the doctor this morning." Kind of waited around again, but at 12:30 I get a call from the doctor who was on call and talked to her about what my issue was, what my concerns were, what we should do to follow up. And she said, "Oh, okay, well, it sounds like you need this test. So would 10 to 3 this afternoon be convenient for you? I see there's an opening then." I said, "Sure." And she said, "And once you have the test, the operator will print it out, and then you can have an appointment scheduled with the GP to discuss it. Is that okay?" I said, "Sure, that's great." So, bim, bam, boom. At 10 to 3, I go in for my appointment. Didn't have to wait but more than a couple of minutes. I get my name called in. I go in for the test. She prints off the result. I walk 25 feet to the next area, sit and wait for my name to be called for the GP. He calls me in. We chat about the results. We talk about different concerns, my general issue and some other things, and his comments, my comments, his thoughts, my thoughts. And he said, "Well, I'm not an expert. This looks okay, but I'm going to have somebody else who's more of an expert in this take a look at it. Since you're due for this other, test, we can go ahead and set that up. And you are already scheduled in for this and that, so, we'll follow up with you after that." So I was out of there by 3:30, or 3:30 as they say here. And I had a great peace of mind because I had been seen by a doctor, I'd been listened to, I'd been heard, and there was steps moving forward that would help take care of me and, follow up on my issue. So obviously it wasn't life-threatening, otherwise I wouldn't be here talking to you. But I just wanted you to know, especially if you live in the US, how differently healthcare works here. I mean, if in the US that would never happen. You would make an appointment with your doctor, you would discuss it with him, and then he might refer you to a specialist to have a test done, at which point you'd have to wait for that and be, anxious about it while you did. And then once you got that appointment, you'd probably have to make another appointment or go back to your original doctor to get the results of that test. And that could take weeks. Whereas here, boom, 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 I was in and out in a matter of, an hour. And it's all been taken care of. So, yes, the healthcare here is pretty awesome. It's a pretty great reason to be here. And I think if you've lived here all your life and you take it for granted, well, you shouldn't, because it's pretty special. It may not be run perfectly. It may not be as good as it used to be. I don't know. I have not been living here all my life. But I think it's run pretty well. It gets the job done. When I've really needed to see somebody, I always get an appointment. I always get heard. You never feel like you're left out in the lurch. And yes, there's doctors and nurses strikes. Yes, you've seen, I've heard of lots of waiting times and people not being able to get in, but that has not been my experience. So I do think it's a good idea to share positive experiences, and I have had only positive experiences with the NHS. I think it's wonderful, and I'm so grateful for it. So if you have any comments or questions about my little experience, I hope you will put them below, and I'll try to answer them. And in the meantime, I hope you are well. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.